everyone, welcome back again to the channel. My name is Damilola. In this video, I'm going to be teaching us how we can go about this balloon gown with an underbust corset half length. So guys, if this sounds like something you want to know, can you please don't forget to subscribe, like and share. Please do want to subscribe, do want to comment and encourage me to do more of this. So guys, without further ado, let's dive right into the main video. First thing first, we're going to be drafting out the upper part, which is our half length and which is our underbust corset for this. And we are going to be drafting out this first, the half length first on our pattern paper, then we are going to cut the rest on our fabric, okay? So guys, I'm having my fresh pattern paper here with me. Then I'm going to be drafting it out, okay? I'm going to be drafting out the first bodice out. So guys, the first thing we are going to do now is to read our starting line like we normally do. So please go ahead and read out the starting line. So guys, after reading your starting line, you can now go ahead and take your measurements all the way from the end, from this starting line, okay? So I'll name this my starting line, or you name it to your shoulder line. So whichever one you prefer to call it, okay? So from there, I'm going to come down by my bust point, which is 10 inches, okay? I'm going to come down, leaving my tape still at the starting line. I'm going to come down by my underbust, which is 13 inches. This is actually simple to make. And for my half length, I have it to be 16 inches. And mind you, I'm going to be making use of side darts for this particular tutorial as well. So then, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to rule across. As I realized that the pencil I'm using now is not actually obvious, so that's why I quit to use my pen. So I'm going to rule out my starting line so that you guys can see. So rule out the starting line all the way. Then from there, I'm going to come down, let me recap again. I'm going to come down by my bust point, which is 10 inches, my underbust, which is 13 inches. So still leaving the tape at the starting point, I'm going to come down by 16 inches, which is my half length. And mind you, we are going to be taking side dart for this particular dress as well. So then the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to label it out so that we won't get mixed out. So guys, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to label this hat so that we don't mix things up. So I've labeled this to be starting line. Then my next line, which is my bust point. So I labeled it BP, my underbust. Then I have my full length, which is my half length. Okay, so guys, the next thing we are going to do now is to come over to our starting line here, rule out your back measurements, okay? Whatever you get for your back, you're going to divide it by 2, okay? Then I'm going to rule across to my shoulder line, to my armhole line. But before we rule across to our armhole line, for this neckline, I'm going to be using 3 inches here, 3 inches here. Then I'm going to be using 3 inches by 3 inches, even though I'm not going to be working with this neckline. But let's use that first so that we won't get confused. So then go ahead and make your perfect curve. After making it there, I'm going to come to the shoulder line here. I'm going to come down by 1 inch for my shoulder slant. So from the shoulder slant here, I'm going to make a straight rule all the way from the shoulder slant to my neckline. Okay, all the way from this point, I'm going to divide my bust circumference by 6. Then I'm going to add extra 1.5 inch to it. So for me, I have it to be 7.5. I make a point there, and I'm going to rule across as well. So that will be my chest line, okay? So guys, we'll go ahead and label it our C-tail, which is our chest line, or you call it your upper bust. So guys, then I'm going to rule across all the way from this line to my chest line. So guys, after ruling it all the way to your chest line, place your tape like this and divide this line into 2. So whatever you get here will be where your curve for the armhole will start. Okay, just go ahead and do your tape like this. Then come in by half of an inch. Then we are going to make a curve. But before we make a curve, divide your bust circumference by 4. Sorry, I have mine to be 9.5. Okay, then I'm going to connect all the way. So after me connecting it this way, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do now is to make this deep to be obvious for you guys to see. So guys, can you see? I hope you guys can see it right now. So guys, after doing it this way, the next thing we are going to go ahead and do now is to come here and mark out our bust pan all the way from our bust point to the under bust and to the half length, which is our waistline. So I have mine to be 4 inches, and I'm going to go ahead and rule a straight line all the way across. So guys, after rolling it this way, we are going to come from this half length, come out by half of an inch on both sides. So making it 1 inch, okay? Just a normal way to draft out your basic pattern. And from your bust point now, come down by 0.75 or about 1 inch. I'm going to be using 1 inch for this. Making a point there, and I'm going to connect all the way to the half inch down. So after making this, after making our darts, I'm going to come to the shoulder place and measure my midpoint. Okay, so I have mine to be 5.5 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and measure my midpoint, which is 2.5. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect all the way in a slanted form to my bust point. I hope you guys understand what I'm doing right here. So then the next thing to do now is to take our side dart for this particular dress. And to get so side dart measurement, minus the half length for your front and for your back. So whatever you get, you're going to make a point here. So I have my front half length to be 16 inches and I have my back half length to be 14 inches. Okay, I have mine to be 16 inches and I have my back half length to be 14.5 inches, sorry. So I'm going to be making use of 1.5 inch for my shoulder, for my side darts. I'm going to be making that 1.5 inch for my side darts. Okay, so then I'm going to come here and place my side darts all the way, measure from this bust point, measure about 1.5 inch for my side darts. So leaving it for my side darts. So after taking it that way, then we can go ahead and measure out our body circumference. So remember that our bust is 9.5. So you repeat it to this point. You are going to repeat it to our chest line, and which we've already done. So you skipping your under bust measurement, come to your waistline, divide your waist by 4. So whatever you get, I have mine to be 8 inches. I'm going to replace this 1 inch for my dart intake, so which is 9 inches. Then I'm going to go ahead and connect. So guys, at this part of my waist, I want it to be a little bit snatched. Then I'm going to be coming out by 1/4 of an inch to make it snatched a little bit. Then I'm going to go ahead and reconnect. So if you don't want it to be snatched, please, you can actually leave it that way as well. So after connecting it this way, I'm going to be making use of this second line, but for this first line, I will not be using it, and that's what I'm crossing out right now. So after doing it this way, remember that we took out 1.5 inch for our shoulder, for our side darts. Go ahead and do so again. Then I'm going to connect it all the way to my bust point. So after connecting it this way, the next thing we are going to do now is to open up the side darts, and we have to close it. So I want us to know that this part will be cut off. We don't need this part. So I'm going to go ahead. We are going to go ahead now to open our side darts. So guys, before we cut out the side darts, I want us to notice something, that I'm going to rule out these particular lines with my marker so that we can know. We are going to be cutting this out, and this is my new waistline, okay? So that we can know when I'm going to make to use the marker. So before me cutting the side darts out, I want us to make our neckline. So if you look at the inspiration very well, we have the neckline to be V neckline. So I'm going to be making mine 7 inches, and if you want it lower than that, you can make it the exact length you have for your chest line, okay? You can make it the exact measurement you have for your chest line. But me, I'm actually okay with this. Now I'm going to be making use of my pin so that it's going to be obvious for you to see. So I'm going to be making use of this neckline now. So initially, I told us earlier that this round neck, we are not going to be needing it. So this is the new neckline we are going to be working with now. But for the round neck, we are going to be needing, we are not going to be needing this. This also will be cut off because this is the neckline we are working with. Okay, so guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to cut out. Please and please pay very close attention to where I'll be cutting out as well. So guys, after cutting it this way, I want us to notice something that I only open up this place and I only open up this place. I didn't cut the whole paper entirely. When I was cutting the side darts, I make sure I left about quarter of an inch, okay? Then when I was cutting the shoulders dart as well, I make sure I cut about quarter of an inch out, okay? I make sure I left about quarter-inch out, okay? And for this part, I make sure I left about quarter-inch out. Please, when you want to cut it out, please, when you want to cut the side dart and your shoulders dart, make sure you leave about quarter-inch out, okay? So guys, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to place this all over and tape it down. But I can see that there's like a form of a barricade here, so I have to throw this out so that I don't want my clothes to start having issues. I'm going to cut it a little bit again, but not the entire paper, all right? Guys, I'm going to go ahead and replace it. As you can see, I have freedom in the moving of there is a freedom in the moving of the paper. So then the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to take this down with a sellotape. So if you don't have a sellotape, please, you can go ahead and use a pin to pin it down. So guys, I'm going to be working with this small tape. Please bear with me. That's the one available for now. So I'm going to be using this. Then I'm going to place the cutted part to this line, okay, to this marked line. Let me bring it over. So I'm going to place it overlapping this line. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Then I'm going to go ahead and tape down as well. So guys, after taping it down, this is how it's going to be. Okay, this is how it's going to be. So guys, the next thing for us to do now is from our underbust. Remember that this is our underbust. So let me relabel this so that we won't get confused. This is our underbust. Okay. So the next thing I'm going to do now is we are going to reshape the line so that it's going to connect to each other. So that when you are sewing this down, you don't have issues. So after reconnecting this is how it's going to be. So the next thing we are going to do now is come to your underbust, come up by 1.5 inches or you use your 2 inches depending on how you want this part to be, okay? So I'm going to be using about 2 inches for mine, alright? Then I'm going to go ahead and make a cuff with my cuff ruler. After making this tip, the next thing we are going to do now is to open this dart out, okay? So the next thing we are going to do is to open it out and add our back waistline. But before adding our back waistline, we have to separate this first, okay? We have to separate this corset part first. Now guys, before cutting this corset part out, we have to close our shoulders that as well, okay? We have to close our shoulder that as well. So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to open this out because this dart that we took out, we don't want it to start showing on our actual fabric, so we have to close it out on our pattern paper. So then I'm going to slash this middle line, okay, this 4 inches. From this middle line to this place, we are going to open it up as well. Please, when you are cutting this this dart as well, this your waist dart, when you are cutting it, please do also leave about some inches so that it won't cut through, okay? So guys, the next thing I'm going to do now is to join this together, but before then I have to open this up a little bit as well. because I want to have that freeness. Okay, so after opening it up this way, I'm going to close this shoulder dart, like as you see me do. I'm going to close the shoulder dart with my cello tape as well. So please, when you are closing this up, make sure one is not overlapping each other. So then I'm going to use my cello tape now to tape this down. Your side that if you notice something here, guys, I've gone ahead to cut this part out, but I later realized that I shouldn't cut it out as well, that I can actually use it that way. Okay, so I just went ahead to add another piece of pattern paper here, so that I'm going to have my pattern paper out that I cut it out. Okay, so moving on, guys, the next thing for us to do now is, we hem out by 2 inches here, and we cut it out, and like we make our curve. Okay, so guys, we make our curve. So the next thing to do now is to cut the corset part out. Okay, the underbust corset, the next thing is to cut it out. So guys, this is for the front now. Okay, so this is for the front now. All right, so guys, the next thing I'm just going to go ahead and do now is to add another bust waistline to this part. Okay, but I want us to know that this is actually the down part. Okay, the down part. Then I'm going to go ahead and push through the excess I have at this point for my waist. So guys, after cutting it, I'm going to go ahead and bring another fresh pattern paper now to add my back waistline too. But before bringing it out, I'm going to go ahead and cut this dart off, because we don't want this to start showing on our dress. So please do also cut it out. So after doing it this way, the next thing we are going to do now is to bring another pattern paper in now. So guys, as you can see, I've gone ahead to tape this down, and this is how it's going to be. So guys, I've gone ahead to look for another pattern paper which is actually plain at this side, and the folded part is at the side of me. That is, I gone ahead to fold this in a fold of 2. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to place it this way. Then I'm going to go ahead and attach. But for this tape side, I have to remove it again, because I'm not actually satisfied with this taping. Okay, so I have to go ahead and remove it again and tape down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and remove again and tape down this way. So guys, after properly taping it down, I'm going to just go ahead and place it this place. The unfolded part of this brown paper and the unfolded part of this white paper will be aligned to each other. Then I'm going to go ahead and tape it down this way. Okay. So guys, the essence of this white pattern paper is to bring out the back effects. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to pin it down, because I'm exhausted with my tape. But for me to pin it down, I'm going to go ahead and overlap this on it. Okay, please do also overlap this on it. Then I'm going to be taking all my measurements from these points. Do also place it this way. Okay, and you attach. You place it this way and you attach. But since I'm exhausted with my tape, I'm going to place it on it about ½ inch. Then I'm going to go ahead and pin it down. So guys, after pinning it down, so please do how to pin it down. When you're pinning this side down, make sure that the unfolded part of this brown and white is aligned to each other. Then the next thing for me now is to determine my bust waistline. I'm going to be coming down by 5 inch for my backs. Okay, for the back effect, I'm going to be coming down by 5 inch, and I'm going to go ahead and slant it all the way from this point to this point. So guys, this will be for my back effect now. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut out. So guys, the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now is to cut out. Please watch me the way I'm going to be cutting out. So guys, at this point here, we are going to go ahead. After you've gotten to this point, you're not going to cut it straight like so. Just go ahead and curve your hand a little bit, okay, so that you are going to have a space there, and curve it this way. So guys, if you notice this waistline, it actually stops at this waistline. Then I just went ahead to cut my V out. I don't actually cut it straight forward, okay? So that this will actually tell me that, okay, this is where my waist stops and the back waistline started, okay? So that's how I'm going to do it right there. So guys, as you can see, this will serve as our back spine, and the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do is to place this aside, and we're going to work on this upper part as well. Remember that this is also our dart legs, so I have to cut out dart legs as well to know the inches I have left for this down part. So after closing it up this way, I'm going to measure this. Then I have about 1 inch for the space. Then I'm not going to be closing this up because at the later, as time goes on, I'm going to be using it as gathers when I cut it out on my actual fabric, okay? So guys, the next thing to do now is to draft out our back patterns. To draft out our back patterns, this is our basic measurement. And if you notice very well, I didn't actually add any zipper allowance for this. But when I'm cutting into my fabric, I'm going to add a zipper allowance and my seams allowance for this, okay? So guys, the next thing to do now is to go ahead and properly draft out your back bodice patterns. Then after that, this is mine, okay? So the next thing I'm going to go ahead and do now here is to come with my with this, okay, with this point, with my bust point or your bust span into 2, divided into 2. I have it to be 4. I went ahead to roll across. So after that, I'm going to take about half of an inch on both sides, just for like when you're drafting out your basic bodice pattern. Then roll it across to your bust point as a similar to. Guys, next thing we are going to do here now is to start taking our measurements. And mind you, for the neckline, I went in by 3 inches by 2 inches. So I don't want the back to be like choking me in at the back as well. So that's why I used 2 inches. Then for my the half length, remember that the half length for the front is different from the back. We have the half length for the front to be 16 inches, while I have the back to be 14.5 inches. So it doesn't have it. And there's a little bit different at this armhole line because I didn't actually come out by ½ inch, okay? Since this is actually a back, we don't need to come out by ½ inch, but if you wish to come out, it's totally fine. It doesn't affect anything. That's why I went ahead to roll it across that way. So guys, the next thing to do now is to measure our waist, our bust circumference, which is 9 inches. Moving on to the half length, I have my half length for 7.5, okay? So I want you to remember that in our front patterns, I went ahead to change my waistline because the one I used was not actually correct. Okay, so now I'm using 7.5 for my waistline, and I'm going to replace the 1 inch then I'm going to replace it right here. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect all the way. So actually for my back, I'm going to be adding that to it as well. But if you don't want to add that, it actually depends on you. But for me, I'm going to be adding that to this for the tightening, okay? So remember that we want to snatch this by ¼ inch as well. Then I'm going to be coming in by ¼ inch, and I'm going to go ahead and reconnect. So the one I'm doing now will serve as our new body circumference for this part. Now I'm just going to go ahead and cut out now. So guys, this will be the end of the tutorial, and this is our front. And in the next video, I'm going to be teaching us how we can sew this down with our balloon skirts as well. Okay guys, if you find this video helpful, please please give it a thumbs up, like, comment and share. And please, oh please, I want you to know that when you're cutting it out on your actual fabric, do not forget to add seams allowance and your zipper allowance for the back, and add the allowances you needed for the front as well. Do not cut this pattern paper like this on your actual fabric. If you do that, you start having issues and your dress will later end up not sizing you or bit difficult for you or have a little bit joining, and that won't be professional enough. So guys, see you guys to my next one. I love you all. Bye.